Hi everyone, it's Kyra Wong, and I'm here today with my next leading lady, Sharon Davis. And we're going to talk about some magical things. Actually, we're going to talk about some serious things too, such as racism, which is very top of mind nowadays with everything that's going on, especially in 2020. It's been quite the year. So let's get started, Sharon.
Okay, let's do it.
So tell me about how your parents first immigrated to Canada, or how your family first came to Canada.
Well, it kind of goes back to the early 1900s. All my grandparents came to Canada before they were teenagers that I'm aware of. Even my mother's mother came to Canada in 1913 when she was just 3 years old. A couple brought her to Canada and they paid a $500 head tax to bring her into the country.
Wow.
Think about how much money that is today.
That's probably enough to buy a house back then.
I think so.
Yeah.
And they built roots here. My dad's family hunkered down into Vancouver proper, and him and all his siblings lived in Vancouver proper. And my mom, my grandma on that side, she moved to Trail, and she became a second wife to a man from China. So I have cousins from both sides of the waters. And they were restaurateurs in Trail and really put roots down. They were the first Chinese family. Yeah, there's deep roots in Trail.
How did you learn to believe in yourself?
Since the time I was about 12, my mom had been sick. So I just became the chief cook and bottle washer at my house. And, you know, people often would say to me, like, oh my gosh, what a tragedy. How did you deal with that? But I think it's the same with anybody that has unfortunate circumstances that happen to them. It's not that anybody has a book about what to do when this happens, right? It's just, it's fight or flight, right? So you can choose to be a survivor, you can choose to be a victim.
You told me that you disassociated yourself from your dad when we talked. Were there cultural messages that were coming to you from your father, or like culturally Asian messages that boys are better than girls?
Yes, and I think it's the old school method of the old school Chinese thinking about if you won't do what I want you to do, I'm going to try and make you do that, or I'm going to stop you from doing other things versus just saying, you know what, why don't you try that? Because what I was trying wasn't necessarily what his ideas or his goals were potentially for me, or what he thought I should be doing. Don't accept bullying, even if it's from your parents. And it sounds like a strange thing to say, but it really does happen. Parents try and mold their children into something, or their ultimate desire for them, or something they missed in their life. But that doesn't mean that's my place or my path that where I was going to go. And in my case, that's part of, was part of my thing. I just didn't want to be, or didn't want to have to do all the things that my parents would have liked. People don't think that parental bullying is bullying. They think they're just imparting their views and you should be taking them very seriously and following what they want. But you know what? At some point in time, when your mind is more developed and your soul is getting more developed and you have a path for where you would like to go, which doesn't match up with what they want, you know what? I have to live with me forever. I don't have to live with them forever. I did put myself through school. So actually when I graduated from school, I did get a scholarship to UBC, and I decided that I was kind of tired of being super adulting while I was actually still a teenager and in school. So I decided I wasn't going to university right away. I was going to go out and work and do those things. And at that moment, that was my cutoff moment. So I then had worked a couple jobs, 2 full-time jobs, to save up enough money to go back to school. I had to pay rent, to live at home even while I was going to school. And you know what? Here I am.
Have you experienced any racism towards your children, having children of, halfers, as we call them? Halfers!
You have heifers too.
I have heifers too. Heifers are so cute. So cute. Anyways, has that been something they've had to deal with as a result of having, a white parent and an Asian parent?
You know what? I don't think so. Not my kids. At that point in time, I think, they're definitely of the generation where everybody's mixed, right? Canada is the best melting pot of all sorts of humans that get together, whether they're different races or ethnicities or same or different genders or whatever the case may be. And everybody is accepted here, right?
What's a limited belief you've struggled with?
Oh, I'd have to say, and it's one of those old things, but boys are better than girls. And you know what? I think
And
that
that was culturally. Culturally, you were taught that.
culturally, but you know, on the playgrounds when kids were little and you play games and you play, you know, boys were stronger. But you know what? Then I think that girls can do just about as anything that boys can do. And sometimes we can do that better.
You are Asian, female, and petite. And you're also really super funny. And I'm wondering if humor is something that you developed to potentially become more visible in life.
Well, I think potentially visible, but potentially to be a little bit invisible too.
Okay.
So I think humor is an easy deflection, right? I mean, everybody appreciates humor. Everybody likes humor.
Yeah.
Humor makes things lighter and softer and funner,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
You know, when times are hard or when, you know, the grind is on, a little humor interjected could just lift everybody's spirits.
What's a piece of advice you would like to give to a younger generation? And maybe a younger Asian generation too, specifically.
Well, you know what? I think it's really not necessarily about the destination. Everybody has a destination in mind. It's the journey that you take to get there. Remember the stop and smell the roses? It's super important to do that, but it's also important just to like take a moment and be still and think about how far you've come, even though you may not be, you know, you might be have started here and now you're here and your real goal is to get here. But if you can't go from here to here. You have to have little hops and skips along the way.
Yeah.
And you have wins and you have losses along the way, or you like everybody falters. But you know what? You just pick yourself up and keep on going.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. And for more information about the Magical Unicorn Project, please visit my website at magicalunicornproject.com. Thank you.